Elbert County Fair at events and parades and rodeos throughout the state of Colorado. And we sure appreciate their efforts in representing our fair and just doing a great job in representing Elbert County. Just moments away, we'll get into our first prospect class of the swine show. We have a total of 6 entries in this first class. Should be checking in at the gate, and we'll get started here momentarily. Class 1 is underway. Coming into this class in no particular order are Colt Holmes, Van Cutter, Wade White, Ashton Sellers, Aliyah Almquist, Benicio Guevara Hudson. Pigs in this class range in weight from 172 to 188 pounds. Class is complete.
Well, welcome tonight, and it's an honor to be here to work with your youth, and a very awesome night to have a pig show. I don't know, the weather gods are definitely in our favor. It was 112 heat index where I come from today, so this is absolutely amazing for a pig show. We've reached the pinnacle of the summer. It looks like we got good support around here. We're going to showcase what what our youth, or what your youth has worked on all summer, and see what they've brought to us, and everybody can kind of learn, and we can have some fellowship and some community here at this county fair. It's definitely what it's all about. Got a really good individual to start the night off with here. This young man brings to us a nice place to start in this particular class with this Barra. Really comes and goes with good width and dimension. Patterns up great from the side, very fresh and well presented. Young man's done a great job getting him to this point. The young man with the gilt here that's going to be in second, another gilt that's just got good width, good shape up top when you get up on top of her. She's not quite as round about her body shape. She's not quite as opened up there through the base of her body and that back into her flank. She too is not quite as just comfortable out here in the way that she moves out of her rear too, but you appreciate her shape that she brings to the table in terms of muscle. middle, and she's just so much more impressive in terms of her width, coming and going than the ones that are underneath her. Another nice job, young man. Good job. Young man's red gilt here, and a gilt there that's very well fit, very well presented in terms of her skin and hair. Gilt that's got good shape and leanness. Gets a little flatter, gets a little narrower gauge when compared to them top two in this class, but a gilt that gets around good and sound. We end with three of them that are pretty similar in type, hogs that have done well and grown well, and kids are doing a great job with them. Just maybe not quite the muscle, not quite the width or bone of those three that are ahead of them as you compare them to our class top end there, but the kids are doing a great job. Let's put our hands together for our first class of the night. Really good way to start.
Results of Class 1. In first place is Wade White of Kiowa Community 4-H. Second is Ashton Sellers of Rural Rustlers. Third place is Benicio Guevara Hudson of Rattlesnake. Fourth is Van Cutter of Running Creek 4-H. Fifth is Alaya Almquist of Rattlesnake 4-H. And sixth, Colt Holmes of Kiowa Community. Coming in next, we get into Class 2 of our Prospect Swine Show. 7 entries in all in this class. Participating, we have Ashton Sellers, Marshall Aldine, Carlos Antonio Guevara Hudson, Cameron Braun, Isaac Jarrett, Wade White, and Ashton Sellers.
Another nice class, these prospects, and got a pair of them at Rises too. I think they're the most similar in type and kind. Yet we have one that's just a notch fresher, a notch heavier structured when you study her at the ground and about her skull. One there that's just really impressive as she drives right directly at you. She's got a really fresh back laid into her, handles it very well. One that pushes her for me is a young man's off-belted gilt here. Really got a good shape to her back and got a good pin width as she leaves you there. Got good muscle in terms of her shape. A gilt there that's not quite as heavy structured. She's just not quite as fresh in her overall appearance in terms of her shape of body, her shape of back, and just her height and her presentation. But that's a gilt that's very complete. Love her lines from top and bottom. Love her stability at the ground, and love the way that she comes at you good and square. Young man's gilt Barra here coming next, kind of a meat and potatoes type hog that's just a real good doing type of a pig that's got some muscle. He's got some shape to his body. He's not quite as heavy structured as those top end, especially when you study him on his rear leg and his rear foot. Wants to round out of his hip just a notch, but just in terms of overall practicality, in terms of width, muscle, and forerib, I like that pig quite a bit just in terms of his fundamentals. We got to neaten him up from the side to get him up in that top pair, lengthen him out of his front end from his blade forward. Thought he just had quite a bit more body shape and more doability to him than this gilt that comes next. Like the muscle in this gilt that comes next, especially as she leaves you. One that just gets too flat about her body, too high and dry in terms of her length and her depth there, but like the gilt in terms of her muscle, her cutability that she brings to the table. Thought she had quite a bit more and just a notch sounder package than the Barra that comes next. The Barra that comes next, I like a lot of things about this pig from his flank forward. If he's moving better, he probably gets up in that top three. A pig there that's dealing with that injury from behind in terms of his hock joint. He's got to be sounder off those rear two to move up any higher for me. But a hog there, you can tell, has got some quality and some good about him as well. Pig that's coming next, one here that just kind of gets outpowered in terms of structure, needs more bone and foot, needs more shape in terms of his muscle, but I thought he was just a little easier doing, healthier looking type of pig than this one that comes next. The pig that comes next, good and well presented. Young man's done a good job getting him to this point. Just one that I'd like to see get around in terms of soundness a notch better. Just like to give him a shot more cover in terms of his body and his overall rib condition. Congratulations, nice class. Let's give him a hand.
Results of Class 2 of the Prostic Swine Show. First place, Wade White of Kiowa Community 4-H. Second, Ashton Sellers. Third is Cameron Braun. Fourth, Marshall Aldine. Fifth, Ashton Sellers. Sixth, Carlos Antonio Guevara Hudson. And seventh, Isaac Jarrett. Congratulations. Coming up next, you can applaud. It's okay. Give them a round of applause. Coming in now, we have Class 3 of our prospects, 5 entries in this class. We have had 2 shown by Noah Braun, Denzel Guevara Hudson, Trey Sharp, and Elena Burris. 5 entries in all in this class. Class is complete. We'd like to welcome tonight's judge. This is Nick Hofschulte of Wyandotte, Oklahoma. Nick attended and judged livestock at Connor State College, where he judged numerous county, state, and national shows around the country. Nick has been involved with livestock production his whole life and is currently involved in the livestock feed industry while working alongside his wife in their e-commerce business. He and his wife Holly reside in Miami, Oklahoma with their 4 children, raising them in the livestock industry, showing hogs, goats, and cattle. Please thank Nick. Phil, welcome.
little smaller class here, but still got some quality. Number 97 over here in the corner is going to start our class off with a gilt there that's just really sound and functional. Just the most complete one in terms of her structural build, coming and going. Still gives you a good balanced profile. Patterns up good from the side. I like her the best in this particular class. Then you kind of got some sorting to do. I think the next one that has the most quality look about her, especially from the side and the way she's built from her flank forwards, this belted gilt here. She's going to be second. It's so much more impressive coming at you through her chest than the bearer that's in 3. A gilt that's got a notch more look from the profile. Not quite as heavy bone as our class winner. Not quite as loose out of her hip and hind leg as our class winner. Like I said, still just a notch more look and a presence from the profile in the bearer that ends up in 3. Love the roundness of rib and just the added doability this bearer brings to the table that ends up in 3. I'd like to see him get out and go a notch better. He's a notch quicker in his step out of his hip, a notch frailer when we compare him to those top 2 in terms of his bone and his foot. But a bearer there that's got a really good rib cage laid into him. Just thought he offered more base width than these 2 that we end with in 4 and 5. Nice pigs here that got some structure to them. I just like to give them more muscle and width all the way through. Gilt we end with there. We just like to loosen her up, correct her out of her hip to make her a notch more easy to look at from the side. Congratulations, nice class.
In first place for Class 3 is Trey Sharp. I love the cheering. That's awesome. Second place, Noah Braun. Third place, Elena Burris. Or maybe Elena Burris. Fourth place, Noah Braun. And fifth place, Denzel Guevara Hudson. Congratulations. We're now getting into Class 4 of our Prospect Swine Show. We'll have a total of 4 entries in this class. Showing include Quentin Browning with 2 hogs, Haler Burris, and Troy Almquist. The 2026 Elbert County Fair presented by HEI Civil, Podestio Brothers Equipment, and Bayware Think Energy. Thank you to our sponsors for presenting the 92nd Annual Elbert County Fair. As we're watching tonight's hog show, just know live streaming available through ringsidelive.co. You can also find that at elbertcountyfair.com, on Facebook, or through their website, ringsidelive.co. Sponsored by the Elbert County Leaders Council. Share that with family and friends. Good way to watch from home or wherever family and friends might be tonight.
We get into the last class of our prospects. The young man here, the taller young man, is going to lead this class off with. He's got the gilt that has the base width, the muscle, and the pattern I'm looking for in this class. A gilt there that just has more width and muscle and puts it together in a good package that's balanced out here amongst these 4. Young man over here is going to be second, second and 3, very similar in type and kind. Thought there was a notch more bone and foot in this bear that's in second, notch more body in terms of his depth and just his doability, but one there that just not quite as heavy muscled, not quite as wide structured as our class winner, but a nice pig. Young man's done a great job with him. It ends in 3. I'd like to see yours have a notch more belly, a notch more shape to her rib there, and just more base width. But when I get in behind her, I'd like to have a notch more bone in terms of her rear foot and ankle, but a nice gilt there that's got some shape. She's a notch nicer pattern when you study her from the side profile, which allows her to go ahead and beat the gilt that ends up in 4. A gilt in 4, really good shape to her rib, one that's very sound out here, a gilt that just needs to be a notch nicer pattern in terms of her lines from the side to move her up any higher for me. Congratulations. Let's give them a hand, and we'll move on and pick your champion prospect tonight.
Results of Class 4. In first place is Quentin Browning. In second place, Troy Almquist. Third place, Quentin Browning. And fourth place is Haley Burris. Coming in next, we are into the selection of our champion prospect market swine. So coming in from Class 1, we have Wade White. From Class 2, Wade White. From Class 3, Trey Sharp. And from Class 4, Quentin Browning.
Let's give your class winners for your prospect show a good round of applause here before you pick your champion. Got 4 individuals out here that are really nice and similar in some respects. To me, it comes down between a pair of them that have a notch more muscle and freshness, and of the pair, there's one that's a notch stouter coming and going, notch more impressive over her back when you get on the top of her, but just her head quality and chest and blade and her added bone allows her to be your champion prospect. Help me congratulate the young man here.
Our champion prospect market swine shown by Wade White. That's your first from Class 2. Coming in now, we bring in the second place from that class, Ashton Sellers.
Bring the second in from that class, and a gilt that's got good shape, good muscle, a gilt that we just like to see maybe have a notch more flank and rib when you get her out here and compare her to another one. There's another one that was really close to my champion, not quite as loose out of his rear third, but just in terms of his shape and his freshness and width. A young lady here with this bear is going to be a reserve. Congratulations.
And reserve champion, prospect market swine shown by Wade White of Kiowa Community 4-H. The Elbert County Fair also presented by our sponsors, Tallgrass, Wagner Cat Equipment, the Elbert County Leaders Council, Mountain View Electric Association, EnviroPest, Kelty Construction, Schmidt Construction Company, Farmers State Bank, and the Core Electric Cooperative, proud sponsors of the 92nd Elbert County Fair. Coming up on Saturday night here at the Elbert County Fair, we have Ned Ledoux in concert. You can get your tickets right now for only $10 at elbertcountyfair.com. You can only purchase tickets through the official county fair website. If you wait till Saturday night, again, look to pay $20 if you get them on Saturday. So get them today. Pre-sale tickets on sale now for $10. You can find those at elbertcountyfair.com. We're now getting into our market swine show. We get into Class 1, 7 entries in this class. Looking at hogs weighing from 230 to 239 pounds.
Real nice way to start your Market Hog show out with here. And a young man on the far side's got our class winner. I think he's a combination bearer that brings some bone and muscle and width to the table, and that's really how he separates himself. It's still being able to get out here comfortably and have some bone and some width and some muscle. Still does it in a relatively sound package that's good pattern from the profile. The one that pushes him for me is the young lady's painted up gilt here. A gilt that's extra heavy duty in terms of her skeleton, in terms of her rear leg bone and her forearm. She wants to get a little more tentative up there on her front end, the way she hits the surface, but I like her added length up front, her added shape that she brings to the table in terms of her back shape. She's not as impressive right there through the center as her class winner. She's not as comfortable out of her front feet, but I do sympathize with you. I got a couple on feet at my house that are doing the same thing, and it's just kind of frustrating. She's done a great job getting her presented and getting her to this point. Like I said, just like to change her in terms of the way she goes off of those front two to move her up any higher and let her win the class. Really a fresh, well-presented, blue-eyed bear that comes next. It's super, super fresh when you get on top of him. He does have more body and center dimension than the gilt ahead of him. I thought he got pretty quick out of his step, front of his rear two, and he's studying him on the side. And as the drive went on, he starts to labor out of his front end too. But simply, he's not as heavy structured as those two that are in front of him in terms of his foot and his forearm, and like to lengthen him out that rump and help him lengthen out that step. But man, he's done everything he can do to get all he can out of him. He's got him maxed out, super fresh, super well presented. My hat's off to you for that. Same goes for the young lady that comes next here. Ultra well presented, excellent hide and hair. Got a great look to this bear in terms of his pattern from the side. I thought of those top four, he was probably the frailest about his foot and his bone in terms of his arm and his rear leg. Then you watch him come and go. He wants to close up probably as much as anything, just in terms of his whole gauge and width. But that's a bear that gives you a great look from the side. And like I said, she's got him fit and fresh and maxed out to a T. Same goes for the young man here. Really good looking bear. He's done a great job with him. He is a notch heavier structure than that one ahead of him. Thought he was the most challenged in his movement, especially off his rear two. Then when you get behind him, his main issue for me, I'd like to square him up right there from the top of his hip to the hock to the ground. Just like to square him up. Like to freshen him up as well when you get on top of him in terms of his blade shape and his back shape. But very well presented, a pig there that gives you a good look from the side. My hat's off to you as well. We got a pair of them here that just need a shot more muscle, need a shot more width, but the young men are doing a great job with them. Let's give them all a hand, and we'll move on to your next class of market hogs.
Results of our first class in our Market Swine Show. First place is Brant Vollison. Second place, Landry Cox. Third place, Wade White. Fourth, Maddie White. Fifth, William Londavazo Jr. Sixth is Tate Schmalzried. And seventh, Cameron Braun. Congratulations. Coming in next, we get into class 2 of our market swine show. Total is 7 entries in this class. Your weight range is 240 to 242 pounds. Exhibitors include Samuel Martel, Blaise Pedestio, Brooke Burris, Josiah Smith, Enrique Vidalis, Brooke Burris, and Alexis McAllister.
Got a pair of them on the top of this class that are kind of on two different ends of the spectrum here. But for me, the most a complete market hog's over here to my right. Really good in terms of his width and his muscle. Still patterns up pretty good from the side. Like to lengthen him off both ends, but just in terms of fundamentals of muscle and width, I like him quite a bit. A young man that comes here second. Well, got one that's a notch sounder in terms of his movement out of his rear, too. He's not quite as fresh in terms of his presentation, especially in terms of his skin and hair. We could get him a notch fresher just in the way that he presents himself and drives out here. And in terms of his body and his shape, I think we could use him to win the class. A pig that's got more length out of his front end. He's got more length out of his rear, too. He's just not as impressive in terms of his shape and his center dimension as the bearer that goes ahead and wins the class. Young lady with this calico that ends up in 3. I like some things about him in terms of width and muscle. I'd like to give him a shot more bone to go along with all that mass he does have up high. Then when I get behind him, I'd like to square him up from hip hock to ground. But a pig there that's got a good pattern about him. Thought he just had a notch more eye appeal in terms of his front end, especially through his throat and his neck, than the bearer that comes next. Bearer that comes next is one that's very fresh. He's very fresh-bodied. Young lady's done an excellent job getting him presented in terms of his skin and hair. Very, very fresh in that regard. I'd just like to clean this pig up through the lower third of his body and through the front end of his body. A pig that gets a notch wastier there through his throat. And we'd like to give him a notch more bone and just genuine shape when you study him in terms of actual real muscle. But that's a pig she's done a great job with. Really got him looking super fresh and well presented. Like I said, just like to stouten him up. The pig that comes next is one that is a notch heavier bone than the bearer that's ahead of her, but a gilt there that gives up a lot in terms of body dimension. You study her through her center and her forerib. Get up top of her, she's not as impressive. Then we got a pair of them down through here that just need more body, more muscle, more actual structural width, but very presented well. Kids have done a great job with them, all of them in this class. Let's give them a round of applause.
Results from Class 2. In first place is Enrique Vidalis. In second place is Samuel Martel. Third place, Alexis McAllister. Fourth place, Blaze Potestio. Fifth place is Brooke Burris. Sixth, Josiah Smith. And seventh, Brooke Burris. Congratulations. Coming in next, we get into Class 3 of our Market Swine Show. 6 entries in this class. Looking at hogs ranging in weight from 244 to 245 pounds. Exhibitors include, in no particular order, Haley Burris, Troy Almquist, Kendra Hunley, William Ladavazo Jr., Sadie McWhorter, and Hilton Smith.
Really nice pair at the top of this class. I believe this is the last class in Division One, and a really good pair here that the young people have done an excellent job with, and put a lot of time into these two to get them presented to this point. And I think it just comes down between to comfort of how we split this pair. For me, the black bear is just a notch sounder, especially out of his rear two. He takes a notch longer of a step off his rear two, and as he leaves you, he's a notch squarer and more comfortable in that regard. He's getting every bit as short as you want one off both ends of his skeleton to proportion right, and a bear there that you maybe like to see just man up as he comes right at you, but just in terms of his freshness, his look, his ability to flex and go out of his rear two allows him to win this class for me. Young man's bear that ends up in second probably is a little more edged up in terms of his blade shape and his back shape. He is a notch more impressive as he comes right directly at you. He's not as long out of his rump. He's not as comfortable in the way that he handles his rear two. When you get behind him, he's a notch wider there at his hock than I deem ideal. And then we get off the side of him. We'd like to clean him up, sharpen him up through that neck and that head to allow him to balance like our class winner does, but extremely impressive in terms of his shape and his muscle and his width. Then we got a bear here that comes in three. Not quite as fresh as our top two, but just when you get off the side of him, this one patterns up extremely well. He balances good. He's fresh in terms of his back shape. We'd like to clean him up in terms of his presentation, in terms of his skin and his hide, but a bear that's not quite as stout, just in his overall feature, in terms of his arm and his bone, as those top two that are ahead of him. But he's just a really no-holes fundamental type of bear there that just gets outpowered in this particular class, but he's a little ahead of the rest in terms of his look and his kind when we come on down the line here. We've got another pig that's really good here. Looks like he's dealing with a little bit of an injury there on his back that probably takes away from how good she feels, but a gilt there that it just gives up quite a bit in terms of overall structural width when you start studying base width, coming and going, but she's got her freshly presented. She's got a nice fresh body to her, and I think that's how she beats these two that in the class. And we've got quality all the way down through here. Another good pig that's got lean shape. She's got good lines. We just like to make her a notch deeper in her body and her flank to help her balance out here. Young man we end with got this red gilt that's really shapely, got lots of muscle. We like to give her more bone to go ahead and make her match with all that muscle that she has and to move her up along the line. Everybody's doing a great job, though. Congratulations to all of you.
Results of Class 3. First place is Sadie McWhorter. Second place is Hilton Smith. Third place is William Landovazzo Jr. Fourth is Haley Burris. Fifth is Kendra Hundley. And sixth, Troy Almquist. Congratulations. Coming in next, we'll have the selection of our champion lightweight market swine. So we have our first place entries from each of our classes. So from Class 1, we have Brant Vollison. From Class 2, Enrique Vandalis. In Class 3, Sadie McWhorter. The Champion Lightweight Market Swine Award presented by Betty Hood, longtime supporter and 4-H leader of Kiowa Community 4-H.
Well, 3 individuals out here we end up with to pick your champion lightweight from, and we've got quality in all 3 of these. For me, it comes down between the young lady's black bear and the young man out of the first class. Those 2 are a little more my kind in terms of their look and their build. I think one of them's got a notch more chest. One of them's a notch more comfortable, maybe out of his rear third. But when this one gets rolling and gets out here and gets comfortable, I think he's certainly acceptable enough. One of them suits me just a notch better in terms of his blade and his shoulder angle, his ability to come and go with square width and dimension. Young man out of the first class is going to have our champion. Congratulations.
Our champion lightweight Marcus Swine, exhibited by Brant Vollison. Coming in for contention for reserve, we'll bring in the 2nd place entry from Class 1 with Landry Cox.
Bring our 2nd in from that class, heavy structured gilt that's got a great length to her in terms of her front end and a rear third there. Maybe gets outpowered out here amongst another one when you talk about body dimension and just soundness out of her front end. We'd like to make that a notch better that I mentioned in class. I thought it was a close between 2 of them, and there's another one out here. If we could just change his blade angle and his chest as he comes at me, I think he really pushes that champion even harder. But for me, it's an easy decision for reserve. Congratulations, young lady out of the last class.
Reserve champion lightweight Marcus Swine, exhibited by Sadie McWhorter. Again, our champion lightweight Marcus Swine Award presented by Betty Hood of Kiowa. Thank you so much, Betty. If you're looking for photos of tonight's show, there's a couple places you can find them. You can find them on the Elbert County Fair Photos website, photos taken by Susan Seawald. Also, ringside photos taken by Beverly Englert. Check out her website to purchase those pictures, beverlyenglert.com. Also, for our small fry exhibitors, if you have a youngin that would like to participate in the small fry show, please get signed up before the end of the lightweight division to get signed up. Again, the small fries will be after the Market Swine show. So again, get your little ones signed up. We do have entry forms here at the announcer stand for you. And now we have class 4 of our Market Swine show. We have 5 entries in class. All hogs weighing 247 pounds. Hogs weighing, weighing 247. Exhibitors include Eli Aldine, Landry Cox, Hayden Post, Azariah Smith, and Ellie Zweck.
Nice gilt to start this class off with and this division off with. Really balanced and probably has the best look that we've seen thus far in terms of her kind, in terms of her profile. Gilt there that's got extra length up front and still brings that blade shape and that back shape and stays square and true from the ground up when we start studying her out here at the surface. Then you got some hogs to sort through that kind of separate themselves in terms of quality from our class winner. The gilt, a bear here that's holding his head head over. I thought he just had the next amount of width and muscle in terms of fundamentals. A bear that we'd like to just give him a notch more presentation in terms of his skin and hair. But young man's done a great job getting him presented in terms of getting him to this point, in terms of growing and doing well. Hog coming next here is one that we just like to see a notch more width when you get over the top of him. Hog that's got some bone, got some muscle when you get in behind him. Just gets pretty plain when you get up on top of him, but like the added freshness in terms of skin and hair that we do have in this particular pig. We're getting into a bottom pair here that's just a little frailer, a little flatter in their makeup, a little narrower. Like to give them just more genuine muscle to move them up any higher for me. But a nice class. Let's put our hands together for these kids. Nice top 5 here.
Results of Class 4. In first place, Landry Cox. Second place, Eli Alden. Third place, Ellie Zwack. Fourth is Azariah Smith. Fifth is Hayden Post. We're now ready for Class 5 of our Market Swine Show. We'll have a total of 6 exhibitors in this class. Hogs ranging in weight from 248 to 249 pounds. Your exhibitors include Savannah Hinton, Elijah Jarrett, Malachi Smith, Brant Vollison, Harlan Summers, and Riley Wire. Class is complete. Attention, we have a vehicle that needs to be removed. Nebraska plates 51-A is an Alpha 641. It's a maroon SUV. Please have this moved right away or it will be towed.
Real nice class and an excellent trio at the top of this class. And young lady here just got one that covers the ring a notch better than anything else, and still has enough power for me. Not the most powerful one in the class in terms of width, but just his kind and his ability to balance and pattern up out here. He's very smooth in his transitions. He's super good and long out of his hip. Takes that extra step and length and fluidity that we like to see, and still has enough muscle and width and power to go along with it. The gilt here is the heavier boned option that's wider and heavier muscled. A gilt there that wants to get her hind leg up underneath her a notch when you study her from the side, takes away from her look, and she's just a notch more robotic in the way that she handles that hip and that hock joint. I'd like to lengthen her out of her rump, give her a notch longer step, and just to make her a notch smoother in her transition there from her rear loin back, but a gilt that you appreciate for extra stoutness, her added hair that she brings to the table, and that width. Like I said, just like to make her more natural in terms of her muscle composition, make her a notch longer out of that hip. I think would allow her to take a longer step and be more comfortable out here. Another nice pig here that's got a really good look from his flank forward. Of that top three, I have a harder time getting him to balance up from the profile. He wants to get a notch shorter in his rump, a notch longer from forerib to his flank, and it takes away from his proportionality out here. But a barra that more importantly just gets a notch straighter out of that front end. He wants to come together at his knee when you study him coming at you. And I thought of those top three, he was probably the smallest in terms of his rear leg bone when you study him in terms of his just hock joint and his foot. But that's a real nice pig the young man's done a great job with. He's fresh, he's got muscle, he's got width. Another nice pig coming next here, young man in the blue brings to us. Really heavy muscle type of a gilt. They got good rib shape to her. Doesn't handle her rear two quite good enough to get up in that top three for me. Doesn't just balance good enough out here. Have quite the presentation from the side of those other three. But just in terms of width and muscle, I think one that needs to get in the 4 hole above 5 and 6. 5 and 6, really similar in kind. I thought the young man's 5th place barra here just had a notch more width in terms of base, in terms of center. We'd like to make him heavier muscled and like to make him heavier structured to get up any higher. Young lady's gilt we in with has got an excellent profile. She's done a great job getting her presented. Just got to have more width, more structural width, more base width to this gilt to move her up any higher. Congratulations to all you kids. Nice job.
Results of Class 5. First place, Savannah Hinton. Second place, Brant Vollison. Third, Harlan Summers. Fourth, Malachi Smith. Fifth, Elijah Jarrett. And sixth, Riley Wire. Congratulations. And next we get into Class 6. 6 entries in this class. Your weight range is 250 to 253 pounds. Exhibitors including Autumn Alden, Kaylee Wire, Justin Langley Jr., Van Cutter, Tucker Crawford, and Alexis McAllister.
Another nice class here, and got this top trio. I think of those top three, young lady's blue gilt just does it the best from the profile in terms of her balance and just her type and kind. You study her from the side, very proportional, got good lines, really puts it together out here in terms of presentation and balance. That's how she wins the class for me. Then second and third, kind of two different types. One of them's a notch fresher in terms of their presentation, and one of them's just got a notch more hog. I think the young man 156 there with the calico pigs going to be second. Just a notch heavier structured, a notch more base width than that gilt, just true base width and muscle. A gilt there that's not quite as balanced from the profile, but you just study him at the ground up. A gilt that's got a bigger foot, a bigger rear leg, bigger forearm laid into her. Just more real muscle in that hog, I think, than the young man in the purple. Young man in the purple here has done a great job. He's got his pig looking as good as he could. Excellent in terms of freshness and skin and hair. I'd just like to give this bear a notch more bone, just one that frails up quite a bit when you study him at the ground in terms of foot and just bone. One there that I'd like to give just more natural shape, more real muscle too. But love his profile, love his freshness, like I said. Done an excellent job with him. Young man coming next with that off-belted gilt here in 4 is pretty similar to the 1 and 3 if you want to go ahead and drop him out. A gilt there that's really good from the side, just coming and going. We like to spread her apart, especially through her chest and knee as she comes right directly at you. And then of that top 4, thought she was probably the frailest about her bone when we study her there at the surface. Nice presented hog, though, that's got a good profile to her for sure. We got a pair of them that are pretty similar in type and kind. Husky built hogs that have got some body to them. Just maybe get a notch plainer about their muscle shape. Get a notch more restricted off their movement, especially out of the rear two there. But nice hogs all the way through. Congratulations. Good job.
Results of Class 6. In first place is Kaylee Wire. Second, Justin Langley Jr. Third, Tucker Crawford. Fourth, Van Cutter. Fifth, Alexis McAllister. And sixth, Autumn Alden. Next, we'll have our selection of our champion light medium weight market swine. So in this division, we'll bring back our first place from each of our classes. So coming in from Class 4, we have Landry Cox. Hog weighing 247 pounds. From Class 5, we have Savannah Hinton weighing 248. And from Class 6, Kaylee Wire weighing 250. The award for this division presented by the Big Time Buck and Horse for Charity, Trevor and Melissa Smith of Kiowa.
Well, we got 3 really good individuals, I think, that all present some balance and quality out here for your Division II champion. And for me, it comes down between the 2 belted pigs. And one of them's just extremely fresh, extremely opened up. He's got the look that I've been looking for in terms of his balance and presentation. He's just a notch looser out of his rear third than the other one. And, man, just looks like he's on his way up. Super fresh, super opened up. Gets driven extremely to a high degree. Young lady here in front of me is going to have your champion.
Your champion light medium weight market swine shown by Savannah Hinton. Coming in next, we'll bring in Brand Vollison, the second place from Class 5, to compete for reserve champion for this division.
bring the second out of that class, and that's a stout rig. We talked about her in class in terms of her bone and just her added roundness of rib and ability to come with that kind of width and muscle and dimension. She's very impressive. That champion was so loose out of his hip and hock. Thought that's how he beat this gilt that we have over here that still is in contention. One that's just a notch quicker in her step, especially a notch tighter in her hock. When you study the way she uses that hock joint, then when she leaves you, you'd like to just stouten her up right there through the base of her stifle and her ham and just right there at her hock as she leaves you. I think the next one that just kind of exemplifies and fits with our champion in terms of width and dimension, coming and going, looseness of skeleton, the blue-eyed gilt's my second favorite. Congratulations.
The reserve champion light medium weight market swine is Brant Follison. Congratulations. The award for champion light medium weight market swine presented by Trevor and Melissa Smith. For our small fry showman, if you have one that is interested in participating in the small fry showmanship, we only have 3 classes before we will close entries for the small fry showman division. So if you're interested or have a little one interested in showing in our small fry showmanship class, again, please fill out that paperwork. We have that here for you at the announcer stand. In the ring now, we're into our 7th class of the Market Swine Show. Hogs in this class ranging from 254 to 256 pounds. Your class is complete. Exhibitors in this class include Kyron Newton, Huntley Reinecker, Marcos Landavazo, Malachi Smith, Enrique Vidalis, Kylie Wire, and Troy McWhorter.
Nice place to start in this class, young man. The yellow Hawaiian shirt here is going to win and just offers us the freshest one that gives us a good look and looks like he fits this class and this size and this weight. Really good coming and going and still got some roll to his cage and his back. A nice place to start. Young man in the pink shirt there has got one that I think has some better days ahead of him. He's not quite there yet. Big chest laid in this barrel. He's extra elevated from the side. He's super good in terms of his pattern. You get behind him and he's not quite as impressive just in terms of his shape and his dimension of ham, especially there through his lower stifle. But man, big-legged hog, that's good pattern, really loose in his structure there. Maybe not quite as good in terms of his presentation and freshness at this point in time. Young man that comes here 3, I think one that's not quite as sound off either end of his skeleton as those top 2, but one that's really good in terms of his center body dimension, his freshness, and mainly just his body condition and depth and feel and his roundness of forearm is how he goes ahead and beats this black bear that comes into 4 with me. Really a heavy structured bear here that's got a good look from the side. A bear I think that maybe looks better, maybe a class or 2 later. I just like to give him a notch more fill. It gets a notch flatter there through his 4 and his center rib, but a bear that you love for his added quality up through his head. A bear that would like to see just kind of get out and go out here, but good shape, good bone. Like I said, just like to give him more dimension there through his center and his forerib in this particular class. Hog that comes next is one that's very good in terms of her width and her muscle. Gets too tight off both ends of her skeleton. Got to make her more athletic, especially out of her rear third there to move her up any higher. We got a pair of them here that just need a notch more width and muscle, but hogs that still have some fundamental quality to them. Let's give them a hand. Nice class.
Results of Class 7 in first place, Troy McWhorter. Second place, Marcos Landovazzo. Third is Enrique Vidalis. Fourth, Kyron Newton. Fifth is Kaylee Wire. Sixth, Malachi Smith. And seventh, Huntley Reinecker. Congratulations. Let's give them a round of applause. Now coming in is a Class 8 of our Market Swine Show. We're looking at a total of 8 entries in this class. Exhibitors include Kendall Riff, Alaya Almquist, William France, Colt Holmes, Dakota Laser, Hayden Post, Landry Cox, and Marcos Landovazzo. Class is complete. Hogs in this class ranging in weight from 257 to 260 pounds.
Nice bear to start this class off with. Does so pretty easily for me. I mean, he's got the look and the dimension and shape. Really got that front end quality that I like to see in terms of that blade coming up, neck coming up and out of that blade. Really good. Really got a stout nose and skull. Comes and goes with good width and dimension. Nice to see how he stacks up when we bring him back. A young man here in second, just got a really fundamental market hog. Really a meat and potatoes type of pig that's got a lot of cubic inches laid into him. We got to make him heavier bone to beat our class winner. We got to make him trendier and a notch leaner and neater out of that front end to go ahead and rival our class winner. But his dimension and just body shape and body dimension allows him to beat this gilt in 3. One here that is a notch heavier structured, probably a notch more high quality in terms of her head and her neck, but gives up a lot in terms of internal dimension through her midrib and her body. Gets pretty extreme in terms of her length, which takes away from her look and her ability to balance when you get her out here and study her. But nice pig. Young man's done a great job getting her presented. Really fresh hog that comes next here that you could have a place higher. I wouldn't argue with you. Got pretty frail at the ground for me. You get up behind him there, he's just a notch out at his hock compared to his hip. A pig there we'd like to pick up in his tail, but body dimension, muscle width's good. Young lady's done a great job keeping him fresh and fresh-bodied and fresh back. Just like to strengthen him in his lines, make him a notch more presentable in terms of his balance. Young lady coming out next, got one that's a notch better in terms of her design from the profile. Gives up a lot just in terms of structural width and just overall width and dimension. And then you study her at the ground, her foot and bones. In terms of balancing and lines, really good there. Young lady's done an excellent job getting her freshly presented today. We come in here with 3 of them that have just got notch more problems. Thought the black bear offered more muscle shape in terms of his back and just in terms of his overall width. We got to balance him better. He gets a little piecey from the side. He gets a little off in his top line there, which takes away from his look. Really nice, sound, fundamental hog here. I just got to have more muscle in him, especially when you get up on top of him to put him up any higher. Then we end with a bear here that's really sound and functional. Got good body shape. Just simply the frailest, lightest muscled in this class. Congratulations. Nice, deep class there.
Results of Class 8. First place is Landry Cox. Second is William France. And third is Marcos Landavazo. Fourth, Kendall Riff. Fifth, Alaya Almquist. Sixth, Dakota Laser. Seventh, Colt Holmes. And eighth, Hayden Post. Congratulations. For youngins, last call for our Pee Wee Showman or Small Fry division. If you plan on showing tonight, last call for entries. If you change your mind, it's okay. But if you have an interest, get signed up, and we'll get you lined up. And if it doesn't work out, it'll be okay. Coming in the ring now, we get into Class 9 of the Market Swine Show. We have a total of 10 exhibitors in this class, hogs ranging from 261 to 265 pounds. Your exhibitors include Conrad Alden, Isaac Jarrett, Harlan Summers, Odin Tubbs, Noah Carson, Riley Wire, Carlos Antonio Guevara Hudson, Alexis Burris, Berkeley Schneider, and Porter Sharp. Class is complete.
close pair up at the top of this class, and neither one of them are perfect. It's probably whichever one you're rooting for is your personal favorite in this pair, and I'll tell you how I see him. I think the young man's Barra, it's just a notch more my kind when we get off out of the side of them and look at the way that they're designed. That Barra is just a notch more pleasing in terms of the way his neck comes up and out of his blade, his throat's a notch tighter, his head's a notch more higher quality, and just a notch better in his lines. So you get up on top of him. I think he does have the advantage in terms of shape out of the backside of his blade, and I just think he's a notch more genuine in his overall shape and muscle, especially when you study him there through his chest. He needs a notch more from behind when you get there and study him as he goes away. He's not the most powerful critter there through the seat of his pants. I just think overall look and dimension and kind, he suits me a notch better than this wide-belted Barra. The wide-belted Barra does offer us a notch more roll to his forerib. You get up on top of him, he's a notch plainer in his overall shape and just his dimension. A Barra, too, that I would like to just stouten up as I get right in behind him. But from the side, he's not quite as tight-throated. He's not quite as neat in terms of his presentation, in terms of his lines, but very, very well presented, very fresh in terms of his body. You can go either way there. I wouldn't argue with you a bit. Young lady that comes into 3, I think just gets up in this top 3 in this class by having a really heavy-muscled, wide, dimensional market hog. A gilt that brings a lot of muscle to the table, probably the heaviest muscle in the class. She can't get up in the top pair for me. She's too fine bone. She's too small-footed. We got to make her more athletic out of her rear, too. But I think it's just keeping the big picture, a hog that's got muscle and width needs to get up in that top 3. Here's a gilt here that's probably a notch better designed. She's a notch smoother in her transitions and longer out of her hip. She too needs a notch more bone for me, and just not quite the power in this gilt as the one ahead of her. A gilt there that's just pretty shapeless when you get in behind her compared to that one ahead of her, and just a notch frailer featured as well. The young man that comes next in 5 gets outpowered just in terms of sheer muscle shape and muscle dimension, but a hog I do appreciate for her bone and her ability to have some chest width. Just like to make her a notch more balanced out here too when you study her from the side profile. But a gilt that's got body, she's got width, she's got bone, gets up in the top 5 for me. Then we end up with some hogs with some major problems, I think, coming on out if we want to let a few more of these out here. This one here just gets a notch longer, takes away from his balance. Like to give him more center body. The one coming out next, too plain in his overall shape when we compare to those ahead of him. Like to give him just more muscle shape and dimension when you get over the top of him. Then we come in with hogs that just need more muscle, more width, and more true shape as you study them throughout their skeleton. Congratulations. Really deep class. We filled the whole ring up. Let's give them a hand.
Results of Class 9, we have first place Harlan Summers, second place Berkeley Schneider, third is Riley Wire, fourth Porter Sharp, fifth Carlos Antonio Guevara Hudson, sixth Noah Carson, seventh Conrad Alden, eighth Alexa Burris, ninth Odine Tubbs, and 10th Isaac Jarrett. Congratulations. So now coming in, we're ready for the selection of our champion medium weight market swine. So from Class 1, we have Troy McWhorter, his hog weighing 256 pounds. From Class 8, Landry Cox, hers weighing 259 pounds. And from Class 9, we have Harlan Summers, his hog weighing 261 pounds. The Champion Medium Weight Market Swine Award presented by Hilton and Brecklin Smith.
really nice trio to pick your champion from in this division. We get them out here and studying them, and there's one that's just a little ahead of the rest in terms of his unique look and his added substance in terms of his arm and his rear leg and his ability to get out here and be athletic but bring some added width and shape and muscle to the table. Young lady here in the center, congratulations.
Our champion medium weight, Marcus Swine, shown by Landry Cox. Coming in now, we'll bring in our second from that class with William France.
We bring that second Calico Bear in here and talk about his added fundamentals and just being a really healthy-looking, good-doing market hog that's got some width and dimension to him. There was another one out here that really pushed our champion. He's not as athletic out of his hip. He wants to kind of twist and swivel when you compare him to that champion, but, man, he is one fresh-backed, fresh-centered, highly presented bear that's very, very balanced. Just kind of got out-horsed in terms of his bone and his maturity. Not quite as loose structured as our champion, like I said, out of his rear too. But he's one that the young man should be awfully proud of. A very high quality bear. Young man here in the Hawaiian shirt is going to be a reserve.
The reserve champion medium weight, Marcus Swine, shown by Troy McWhorter. Award for our champion medium weight market swine presented by Hilton and Breckland Smith. Congratulations. Lots of activities coming up here at the Elbert County Fair. Coming up tomorrow, it's a full day. We'll get started with swine showmanship as well as the 4-H rabbit show in the morning. It's also Senior Citizens Day here at the Elbert County Fair. For those of senior citizens, know that there's a free luncheon and program presented and hosted by the Elbert County Sheriff's Office. That's in the Fellowship Hall at 10:30. Well, 11:30, get into the 4-H poultry show. And in the afternoon, stick around for the dairy and beef show, as well as an open gincana on Thursday night. So a full lineup of activities. You can find the full schedule online at elbertcountyfair.com. We're now ready for Class 10 of our Market Swine Show. We're looking at a total of 9 entries in this class. Your weight range is 266 to 267 pounds. Exhibitors include Declan Geiger, Samuel Martell, Huntley Reinecker, Cash Reich, Tucker Crawford, Declan Geiger, Sadie McWhorter, Trace Sharp, and Sonny Tubbs.
Real nice class here as we get in this heavy division, and at the balanced, complete one here that brings the most positives. Young lady in this striped shirt here is going to be our champion. Just kind of overwhelming in terms of the class when you start talking about structure and bone and feature. Still stays comfortable out here, brings muscle and width to the table in a really fresh package. From there, it gets a little closer. I thought the young man here with this black-headed gilt just had the added edge in terms of real shape and width compared to the contemporaries on down the line. Really neat fronted gilt. It's got some long length of neck, a really tight-throated type of gilt that's got extra shape out of the backside of her blade. She's not as heavy-boned as my class winner. She's not as comfortable out of her rear, too, as my class winner. That's why she ends up in the 2-hole today. But I think she's just got that much more shape, that much more genuine muscle than the off-belted Barra that comes next. Really good pattern pig that comes out here next. It's very fresh in terms of his body. He is a notch better in terms of the way that he handles his rear leg than the black-headed gilt. Just didn't find quite the chiseled shape, especially how the backside of his blade. You get behind him, he wants to get a little narrower gauged compared to that gilt in terms of just his overall muscle and width. But a bear I really like from a balance standpoint from the side. Just like to give him a notch more power coming and going. The gilt that comes next here, one that wants to get a little growly and cantankerous on us as the drive went on there. I just got to make her looser structured, especially out of those rear two. One that just gets a notch more robotic in her movement. If we can make her more athletic out here, make her more comfortable out here, we may be able to move her up a spot or two. Today, I just got to make her more athletic. She's too challenged in her movement. But a gilt there that's just so much fresher in terms of her body and her shape that she brings to the table than the Barra that comes next. Barra that comes next, really just kind of a fundamental no-holes type of Barra. Not a lot wrong with this Barra. Just gets a little more ordinary about his look in terms of his front end. As he comes at me, I'd like to spread him open there in his knee and his chest. But a pig that's got good shape, and that's how he beats the Barra that comes out here in 6th, the young man in the green has. I'd like to give this one just more natural muscle shape. He's very, very good in terms of his pattern and his lines and his design. Love the 4-rib shape that he brings to the table, but it's got to give me more muscle to move him up any higher for me. Pigs that we end with here, pigs that just got a pattern better and balance better for me. One here that just gets awfully frail, maybe a little too over-conditioned for me. I'd like to lean him up and give him a shot more bone. Then we end with one here, same story, just needs more bone, more muscle to move up any higher. Excellent job. You kids doing a great job. Congratulations to all of you.
Let's give our exhibitors a round of applause. Results of Class 10. First place, Sadie McWhorter. Second, Declan Geiger. Third, Cash Riff. Fourth, Declan Geiger. Fifth, Samuel Martell. Sixth, Trace Sharp. Seventh, Tucker Crawford. Eighth, Huntley Reinecker, and ninth, Sonny Tubbs. Congratulations. Coming in the ring now, we get into Class 11 of our Market Swine Show. We'll have a total of 10 entries in this class. Hogs ranging in weight from 268 to 272 pounds. Exhibitors include Denzel Guevara Hudson, Maddie White, Noah Braun, Naveen Quintana Ritter, Brooklyn Zwack, Azariah Smith, Kendra Hunley, Colton Newton, Bailey Reinecker, and Hilton Smith. The 92nd Elbert County Fair, presented by our silver sponsors: Lifetime Window Siding, Bath and Roofing, Kellogg Contracting, Independence, a craft company, GMT Exploration LLC, General Shell, Doffenbach Construction, Colorado Greenhouse Builders, Chad and Tegan Braun Realty, Power Motive Corp, Rule 1, and Renee Burton, an American Family Insurance Agency. Class is complete.
Close pair here on top in this class, and right here is how I sorted these. The gilt's more my kind from the side. You study her, she's the more proportional one. Got a notch more air underneath her there that helps with that. Just from her forerib and forward, she's a notch cleaner about her pole, neater about her head and neck. Gets out here and offers us a shot more rear leg bone, more rear leg stability and athleticism as well. Now the off belt bearer here in second, he's got the bigger back. He's got the bigger hip laid into him. If you want to measure him out, he probably wins for you from the side. He gets pretty cresty and coarse up through his front end. For me, I think he's the frailer boned option of that top pair, and a bear that gets a little low set in relation to his length, takes away from his look, but man, he is maxed out. Young man's got him fit to a T. He's done everything he could do to get him presented to this point. My hat's off to him for that. Blue gilt coming next here. She's got to be sounder to move up any higher. Really good look from the side. She's got a show pig look about her in terms of her length of neck. She's got a lot of hip and power from behind. A gilt there that's just got to simply be more athletic for me to move her up any higher. But she is just a notch better looking in terms of her side view presence, in terms of her front end than the bear that comes next. The bear that comes next is one that's just a fundamental type of market hog. He's done really well for the young lady in terms of growing and staying sound. A pig there that's just got to have more quality look about him in terms of his front end, in terms of his neck and his presence from the side to move up into that top three for me. Thought he had more shape right when you get up on top of him than the bear that comes next. A tight pair there that's pretty close. Never could really get a read on this hog. Like to see him get out and go a notch faster to really get an evaluation on him. Get on top of him. He's a notch plainer in his shape, just not quite as descript in that muscle shape in terms of right out of the backside of his blade. But he's heavy boned. He's sound in terms of his angles. He's got good rib design. Just his hind leg stability and his hind leg organization, what beats this Blue Bear for me. A really nice pattern type of pig here. Just got to be heavier bone. Got to be sounder out of that rear two to move up any higher. A nice pig coming next. Young man brings to us. Thought he gave up quite a bit just in terms of her overall mass and dimension. You watch her come and go. Wants to narrow up through her chest and get pretty plain in terms of her shape, but really a good sound type of a gilt that's got good design in terms of side view presence. Like I said, we just like to see more hog there to get her up any higher in this particular class. We move on down the line here, and we got hogs that just simply need more width and dimension to their base. A nice pig here that just got to have more muscle, and then pigs here that just maybe get a little over conditioned. We like to see more lean shape in them. Congratulations, nice class. You guys are all doing a great job.
A tough class with 10 entries. Results of Class 11, first place, Maddie White. Second, Hilton Smith. In third, Colton Newton. Fourth, Kendra Huntley. Fifth, Naveen Quintana Ritter. Sixth, Azariah Smith. Seventh, Denzel Guevara Hudson. Eighth, Brooklyn Zwack. Ninth, Bailey Reinecker. And 10th, Noah Braun. Congratulations. Come in and next we'll get into class 12. We have 10 entries in this class. Your weight range is 243 to 276 pounds. Exhibitors include Jacob Critton, Brooklyn Zwack, Noah Carson, Brant Vollison, Colby Zion, Ellie Zwack, Benico Guevara Hudson, Troy McWhorter, Berkeley Schneider, William Landovazzo Jr. Class is complete. Coming up on Saturday, we'll have a health fair here at the Elbert County Fair. Just stop by the Public Health Building. You can do health screenings, low-cost lab work, also sports physicals for just $25. So stop by the health department for the fast, affordable sports physicals just in time for the upcoming fall sports season. Physicals being offered 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Again, the health building is located just north of that building. Check that out on Saturday.
Real high quality class and a high quality trio, and you get into this duo up here at the top, it's even tighter. And young man's got the most athletic one out here, especially out of his rear two. He gives you the high quality look out through his front end, and still brings enough width and muscle to the table. You know, you got to ask yourself, we peel away all that hair, how big forearmed is that hog? You know, he's probably not as big armed as the gilt that comes in two, but I think his advantage is in athleticism allows him to go ahead and win this particular class for me. I really like the added stoutness and ruggedness of head this gilt brings to the table here in terms of her skull and her jaw. She's got a big natural forearm laid into her and forerib. She just needs to simply go more athletic out of those rear two. She gets more robotic and quicker in that step. And not surprisingly, she's a notch shorter hipped, but a gilt there that's got a lot of dimension in terms of width coming and going, a lot of dimension to her center. She's just simply the more opened up one compared to the black bear that comes into three. Bear that comes into three, really tall shouldered, really neat from the side. It's this view right here that gets him beat in that top trio. He's got to be stouter there at his chest and his knee for me to move him up in that top pair. But man, he's super fresh. He's got a great high quality look from the side. She's got him looking absolutely incredible in terms of his skin and hair. Like I said, just want to open him up there through his chest and his blade. Hog coming next here in 4 is really just a sound, functional type of pig that kind of runs into a hornet nest of a class. Doesn't have quite the freshness and tone to her back as those top three get up on top of her. She's a notch more vanilla in her shape, just a notch more mild there behind her blade in terms of her shape and that backside shape out of that blade. But a gilt that's very heavy bone, very sound and functional out of her rear two. We just got to give her a notch more freshness to move up into that top three for me. But the gilt that comes next, really a fresh-bodied gilt that just maybe isn't quite as out there in terms of her presentation, in terms of skin and hair. Thought of those top 5, she was the frailest in terms of her bone. You study her forearm and her foot. But that's a gilt that's got really natural, fresh body and rib shape laid into her. Just like to give her a notch more bone and feature to go along with all that mass. A nice pig that comes out here next that just gets out-powered at the ground. He's pretty frail in terms of his bone work. We just got to make him stouter there. But just in terms of freshness of back, in terms of freshness of body, in terms of base width, I think he needs to get up in this class. And he's a notch sounder out of his front end than this bear that comes next. heavier boned option here. Wants to close up there at his knee, get awfully straight up in his blade. We got to make him sounder out of his front end to move him up any higher for me, but really heavy boned option. The young man's done a great job getting him presented in terms of his skin and hair. We'd like to freshen this hog up in terms of his skin and hair. I think it'd make him a notch more appealing, but a barra there that just gets too short and round out of his hip. We need to give him more volume and dimension there, make him a notch more level in terms of his lines when you get off the side of him and study him from the side. Then we end with a pair of them here. Young people done a great job with them. They look like they've done well and grown well for them and stayed healthy. I just need more muscle shape, more bone there at their base to move up any higher. Let's congratulate them all, and we'll move on to your next class.
Results of Class 12. First place, Troy McWhorter. Second, Brand Vollison. Third, Berkeley Schneider. Fourth, William Landavazo Jr. Fifth, Ellie Zwack. Sixth, Noah Carson. Seventh, Colby Zion. Eighth, Jacob Crippen. Ninth, Brooklyn Zwack. And 10th, Benicio Guevara Hudson. Congratulations. Next, we have the selection of our champion and reserve champion for the medium heavyweight, the heavy medium weight division. So of our first place entries from Class 10, we have Sadie McWhorter, hog weighing 267 pounds. From Class 11, we have Maddie White, hog weighing 268. And from Class 12, Troy McWhorter is hog weighing 275. This division sponsored by Will and Katie White and family.
Real nice trio here in a tough division that we've come into, and all these three, let's give them a round of applause. They've done a great job, put a lot of time and effort. If you think it's easy to get pigs to look like this, I promise you it's not. It takes a lot of dedication and discipline throughout the summer to get them to this point. And, for me, it comes down between a pair of them. One's a little chunkier in his rib. He's a little stouter about his head. And there's another one that's just a little more athletic, a little longer out of his rump. Still gives you a good shape up there when you get on top of him. I think he's a notch longer about his neck. But more importantly, I think he's just the most comfortable one out here, the most correct in his angles and the soundness one at the surface. Young man, the Hawaiian shirt's going to have our champion.
Our champion heavy medium weight Marcus Swine, shown by Troy McWhorter. Coming in for contention for reserve of the division is Brant Vollison.
We bring the second out of that class, really a stout, husky-built gilt that's just super, super stout about her feature. We get her out here. She's even yet probably not as athletic as another one out here in terms of her hip organization and her hock placement. Thought it was close between a pair. If you want to switch the pair, I can understand it. But for me, that one was the athlete that I used for champion. The one that's going to be reserve is super, super sound in terms of his foot placement. He's super big in terms of his rib, not quite as long rump, not quite as long in his rear step. Young lady here in the red and white striped shirt is going to be a reserve.
Our reserve champion heavy medium weight market swine shown by Sadie McWhorter. Our award for the champion heavy medium weight market swine presented by Will and Katie White and family. Our show is quickly progressing as we get into class 13 next. So just getting closer to the grand champion drive. We'll have classes 13 and 14. We'll have a division selection, and then we'll have the selection of the grand champion market swine here at the Elbert County Fair. If you're following along or have family members interested in watching the show, make sure you find us online. You can find that at ringsidelive.co. So you can watch a live streaming of tonight's Market Swine Show. Also, the Market Beef Show coming up tomorrow as well. You can also find it on Facebook as well. Again, find that ringsidelive.co, presented by the Elbert County Leaders Council. We sure appreciate their support in making it possible to view the shows anywhere you have an internet connection. We're ready for class of 13. 6 exhibitors in this class. Exhibitors include Dakota Laser, Savannah Hinton, Shelby Hunley, Maddie White, Alexis Burris, and Sadie McWhorter. Your weight range is 278 to 288 pounds. 6 exhibitors in all. Class is complete. Also going on tonight in the main arena is the 5 Flat Productions team roping. So underway now. You can watch team ropers compete in a variety of classes, including the pick 1, draw 2, progressive 4-steer, progressive on 1, and many others. Again, you can check that out in the main arena.
Really nice class. We've got quality all the way through this class, and this top pair is tough. I think the white belted one just brings us more bone, more width, and still has it in a balanced package that's sound and very, very impressive out here in terms of his width coming and going. Really sure-footed. Really gives you a good, elite, high-quality look from the profile as well. The gilt that comes into second, she probably is a notch more youthful about her head, a notch more feminine about her head. Obviously, she is the female. And with that, she gives up a notch bone. She gives up a notch rear leg. She's not quite as loose in that hock and hip joint, I don't think, when you watch her move from side to side out here. But that's one that's extremely, extremely good from a female standpoint. Just kind of gets out-horsed by a male in a market hog standpoint for me in this particular class. The young lady's blue one that comes out next is a gilt there that's got a tremendous amount of muscle shape, very, very good in that regard. Just simply gets out powered in terms of her bone and her structure out here in terms of her foot, her forearm, and her rear leg. Excellent shape, though, excellent width, very, very highly presented as well. Young lady that comes out here next in the pink bow, doing an outstanding job driving her pig. Got a pig there that's got a really big center, really rugged design, rugged skeleton type bear out here. Just needs more look and presence from the side. I like to lengthen him out of his front end. I like to freshen him up in terms of his undercarriage there, but a hog that's got bone and stoutness. The gilt coming out next, really a sure-footed type of gilt. It's good in her design. I like to give her more flank and body to help her balance and proportion out here, but I thought she was a notch sounder, a notch more comfortable in her top line than the gilt that we end the class with. Gilt we end with the class with still got a ton of quality in terms of her type and kind. Really got that good show pig look out through her front end. Wants to get a little higher in her spine, wants to get a little tighter out of her rear too out here. But the young lady's done an excellent job getting her presented. She got her fresh in terms of her look, in terms of her skin and her hair. It definitely needs commended for that. Congratulations, really deep class from top to bottom. Excellent top pair.
Results of Class 13. First place, Sadie McWhorter. Second, Savannah Hinton. Third, Maddie White. Fourth is Shelby Hunley. Fifth, Alexis Burris. And sixth, Dakota Lacer. Congratulations. We'll have one more class before we get into our heavyweight market swine division. So looking for 4 entries in Class 14. Just a reminder for our exhibitors, market sale pictures must be taken tomorrow, 8:30 to 12:30 in the South Pavilion. You can make sure you get your pictures taken for your market sale designated animal. In Class 14, hogs in this class ranging from 289 to 298 pounds. Exhibitors include Dakota Lacer, Berkeley Schneider, Odin Tubbs, and Elena Burris. Class is complete.
Nice way to end this division. Young lady in the blue is going to win this class, and does so by just having the shape and muscle that we've looked for throughout the entire show. Really got that good turn right out of the backside of her blade. A barra there that gives you a good look from the side. Just handles it very, very well for all the power that he's packing. Young lady here is going to be second. Really a round-ribbed, wide base type of a barra. Not quite the bone, not quite the structure, not quite the look and presence from the side as our class winner, but still just the fresher option, the bigger backed one compared to this barra that ends in 3. Barra in 3, really loose, really long off both ends of his skeleton. We got to have more shape and muscle in his back to move him up any higher for me. Young man's doing a great job over here in the corner with the spotted barra. Got a really good doing barra that's got good rib and body. Just got to give him more natural muscle, more shape, more bone to move him up any higher in this class. Congratulations. Let's congratulate our last class of Market Hogs.
Results of Class 14, first place Berkeley Schneider, second Dakota Laser, third Elena Burris, and fourth Odin Tubbs. We're now ready for the selection of our champion heavyweight market swine. We'll bring out our class winners. So from Class 13, we have Sadie McWhorter. Her hog weighing 288 pounds. And from Class 14, Berkeley Schneider, and her hog weighing 292 pounds. The Champion Award presented by SSL Choice LLC, Vinson Retaining Wall, Matt Summers.
Really high quality pair for your heavyweight drive, and a pair that's very, very well presented. These ladies have put a lot of effort into these barras. One of them's got more bone, he's got more width, and still does it in an attractive, balanced package. Striped shirt's going to be your champion. Congratulations.
The champion heavyweight market swine shown by Sadie McWhorter. Coming in now, we have our second place from Class 13 for contention for reserve, shown by Savannah Hinton.
Bring that second place out. That was a close pair, and a very high quality gilt that is super, super well presented, balanced to a T. Got that extra high quality look. Love her bone. I think that's where she separates herself and becomes a reserve. Congratulations to her.
Reserve champion exhibited by Savannah Hinton. Congratulations. Our champion heavyweight market swine award presented by SSL Choice LLC, Fence and Retaining Wall. Thank you to Matt Summers for sponsoring this award. Our next class will be Class 15. This is our overweight market swine division. 2 entries. Following this class, we will have a 15-minute break, just allowing our exhibitors from the division champions to gather themselves, do last-minute prep for selection of the overall grand champion market swine. So a short 15-minute break after the selection of this class, and then we'll have the grand champion drive. And now we have Class 15 hogs in this class, both weighing 302 pounds, both exhibited by Sunny Tubbs.
We get into this overweight division. We got a pair of them that are very similar in their type and kind. Hogs that would probably kill pretty good when you harvest them and taste just fine. And ultimately, what these things are made for. Young lady's going to win our class here. One that's just got a little more roundness to his rib. Probably brings a notch more volume of muscle to the table. A young man's got a very similar type of barrow that's a notch longer, probably. Not quite the shape, not quite the mass and power when you get view him from behind, but a nice pair there. Let's give him a hand as we move on to your next division.
In first place of Class 15 is shown by Sonny Tubbs, and second, also shown by Sonny Tubbs. So we'll have a short 15-minute break, just a pause to regroup before the selection of our grand champion market swine here at the Elbert County Fair. So be back here approximately 8:40 for the selection of our grand champion drive. Again, just a short 15-minute break to allow our exhibitors to do the final touches on their animals for the selection of the grand champion market swine.
Hey, attention, guys. If you have a peewee that is signed up for the peewee showmanship, if you and your little one, or just a parent, is fine, if you guys can please meet me at the south end of the barn so I can let you guys know what group you're going to be in, because we are separating them. So we don't have such a big group out there. So if you guys could just meet me right at the south end of the barn, I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
place it somewhere else.
We need our Are you missing your cell phone? One has been found. Come describe it, and we'll give it to you. We're moments away from the selection of our grand champion, Market Swine. So get comfortable, get ready, as momentarily we'll get into the selection of our grand champion. Okay, I think we're all ready. Our exhibitors are all our exhibitors are lined up, and we are ready for the selection of our grand champion market swine. And here at the fair, we will be placing the top 5 overall. So we'll bring in first our reserve division champions for each class. So our reserve champion, a lightweight market swine, shown by Sadie McWhorter. Our reserve champion light medium weight market swine, exhibited by Brant Vollison. Our reserve champion medium weight market swine, shown by Troy McWhorter. Our reserve champion heavy medium weight market swine, owned by Sadie McWhorter. And our reserve champion heavyweight market swine, exhibited by Savannah Hinton.
What's that? No, I think they all have champions, yeah.
So next we'll bring in our champion lineup. Our champion lightweight market swine, exhibited by Brant Vollison. Our champion light medium weight market swine, exhibited by Savannah Hinton. Our champion medium weight market swine, exhibited by Landry Cox. The champion heavy medium weight market swine, exhibited by Troy McWhorter. And our champion heavyweight market swine, exhibited by Sadie McWhorter. Tonight's judge is Nick Hofschulde from Wyandotte, Oklahoma. Nick attended and judged livestock at Connor State College, where he judged at numerous county, state, and national shows across the country. Nick has been involved with livestock production his whole life and is currently involved in the livestock feed industry while working alongside his wife in their e-commerce business. Nick and his wife reside in Miami, Oklahoma with their 4 children, raising them in the livestock industry, showing hogs, goats, and cattle. We sure appreciate his efforts tonight to sort through the extensive hog show that we've had tonight. Thanks a lot. Let's give him a round of applause.
You guys could shut them down a little bit. Being the swine judge, I've got to give you a little piece of my mind with all of our infinite knowledge as swine judges we have. I know we can get a little winded at time to time. This has been an impressive hog show you guys have had. Let's put our hands together for everybody that makes this possible. You guys have got a tremendous community involvement. Community support is great. You got a nice facility here that it looks like you guys have put together, and a very well-ran show that my hat's off to you. I'm going to leave you, Showman, with just two things tonight, a bit of advice. First thing, don't ever lose hope. I know a lot of you kids probably didn't do as good as you wanted to tonight, and some of you kids probably didn't place as high as you wanted to, but don't let that discourage you. Keep your hopes high. Keep your aspirations high. I don't care whatever you're doing, whether you're feeding cattle, managing hundreds of people in some huge corporation, or if you're underwater basket weaving. You should try to do better the next day, every day before, every day after. Try to do better than you did the day before. Keep that high. Keep your efforts high and your aspirations high. Promise you, it's going to keep you in good spirits, keep you rolling in the right direction. You got to keep that going if you want to get on out in life and be successful. Next thing is don't ever forget that this is anything you do. It's never an I thing. I guarantee you, whether you win when you go out and win, or whether you win in this ring, you've had a tremendous amount of support to get to where you've gotten, and don't ever take that for granted. Always be grateful for your circle and for those who support you. And the most impressive thing I've seen here tonight is it looks like you kids have a ton of people that support you and care about you. With that being said, let's fire them up. I'll pick you a champion. Been thoroughly impressed with the quality of livestock. Been thoroughly impressed with the quality of showmen you all have at your county fair. I should be very grateful again for the support that you have here in Elbert County.
Our grand champion market swine shown by Troy McWhorter. That's right.
Extremely high-quality champion there. Thought he was the most athletic we've seen that still offered bone and shape and substance. Another one out here that really pushed him that's probably got more shape to his forerib. He's not as long out back. He's not as athletic in his rear leg. But, man, he's high quality. Young lady should be super proud of him. Young lady here, congratulations.
Our reserve grand champion market swine exhibited by Landry Cox. Third overall, exhibited by Sadie McWhorter. Fourth, exhibited by Savannah Hinton, and fifth, Sadie McWhorter. Our awards tonight presented by Kathleen Kepke of Matheson, Colorado, sponsoring our Grand Champion Market Swine Buckle. Banner presented by the White family. The Reserve Grand Champion Market Swine Award sponsored by Advanced Quality Auto Repair, Dustin and Kelsey Olam. Our third, fourth, and fifth exhibitors also receiving banners from the White family. We sure appreciate our sponsors for their support of the 92nd Elbert County Fair. So we'll have a short pause and then we will get into the small fry division. Stick around. It's oftentimes the best part of the show to watch the future of the Elbert County Fair.
It sounded great. Hey, this is a record of how quick the show's gone. We're usually here till midnight.
Amazing, though.
It was perfect.
Loved it. It was like consistent. It was awesome.
I always just try to play some best toys.
That's all you can do.
I don't even know. It's been a long day. I'm like, it simplifies it, right? It took me a minute to catch on. That's all.
Yeah.
Our royalty time. No. Just hand them.
All right. Who's ready for the best part here to watch our future 4-Hers? All right. My second group, if you guys want to get with your 4-Her and get your pig and go ahead and head up this way. In the second group here, we have Reagan Trio, Letty Trio, Charlie Trio, Andy Davis, Brady Eldinghoff. Did I say that right? Huh? Sorry, Morgan and Coulter. Randy Young, Kyler Hinton, Harlow Tiemann, and Bryce Vollison, Kinley Eldinghoff. Huh? Well, what do you want me to do? I'm one person.
can or?
I don't know. How old are you?
I don't know. I just saw that on white.
From who?
Over there. She's coming over here. Where?
Okay, give me a.
You're fine. You're fine.
How old? 8. So you're going to be in class 1. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I combined 1 and 2, but I had already given out those numbers, so I kept them that way. So we really have 2, 3, and 4. Okay. All right. Okay. The fourth one. Do you want to do the gate?
I sure can. Am I going one at a time? Or as they get here?
As they get here.
Oh, man.
Get out there, Lainey.
Go for it. I got told, hold on. You might be the only pig out there, so you might win it. Sweet. Did you announce it in the barn?
Yeah. I mean, I was. I don't know what else I can do. I got kicked out.
After you see the pizza, everybody's all like,
Yeah, whatever.
I'm out.
If you can hear me in the barn, first group of peewees, go ahead and come out.
Yeah, let's just go.
Let her rip, take a chip.
Maybe.
Is Lainey going in this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because whatever the age is. Little Sijoa.
And I'm sorry, we have Lainey Triel as well.
Push her out, Lainey. Charlie, are you going to go? That's okay.
They're just all sitting there, so.
Who?
Everybody. They're going to smell it any good.
Well, they're all supposed to. Everybody that needed pigs, I got them pigs.
You okay, Tracy?
I don't know where our first group of peewees are. Sorry. Sorry. Oh, you're okay.
Not yet. Oh, well. We're in group 3, I think. Yeah. Are we in group 3? Okay.
Are they second?
Huh?
We're in group 3.
Microphone.
Well, this is a moment we've all been waiting for, so let's give them a big round of applause and make them feel special. If I don't see an ice cream cone in each one of these kids' hand, I'm going to just be very disappointed at you parents ringside. I've seen some floating around out here tonight, so you kids ask your parents for ice cream.
You can find ringside photos from tonight's swine show in a couple places. You can find it at beverlyenglert.com. So ringside, you can find those as well as on the Facebook page for Elbert County Fair photos presented by Susan Seawald. So find those photos and capture these great moments of the 92nd Elbert County Fair. All right, second round. Let's give them a big round of applause. We'll let them go. Again, ice cream for every kiddo. Coming in next, we'll get into our third flight of our small fry division. Each kid receiving a ribbon for their participation in the 92nd Elbert County Fair. The 2026 Elbert County Fair presented by our gold sponsors, Core Electric Cooperative, Kelty Construction, EnviroPest, Elbert County Leaders Council, Farmer State Bank, Schmidt Construction Company, Wagner Cat, as well as Tall Grass. Also grateful for our platinum sponsors, Bayware Think Energy, AGI Civil, and Potestio Brothers Equipment of Kiowa, Parker, Colorado Springs, and Glenwood Springs.
All right, so this is the last group. We need the biggest applause for the last group. Let's give them a big round of applause. If you don't do anything else for the county fair, at least grab one of these kids some ice cream tonight. They're barely moving out here.
Well, that officially wraps up our market swine classes and small fry show tonight. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Lots of activities going on here at the Elbert County Fair. We got the 4-H Rabbit Show getting underway at 8 a.m. The 4-H Market Swine Showmanship getting underway here at the South Pavilion. That starts at 9. It's also Senior Citizens Day. We'll have activities with a program at 10:30 at the Fellowship Hall. Make sure you check out Poultry Showmanship at 11:30. The Bunny Agility and Dress a Bunny contest is at 2. And then in the afternoon, the 4-H Dairy and Beef Show. That gets underway at 2 o'clock. And the Open Gymkhana starts at 5 in the main arena. Again, all these activities, you can find the full schedule online at elbertcountyfair.com. Thank you so much for showing, and we hope you have a safe drive home and have a blessed day.